Hi, my name is Yen Dao, and I'm going to show you how to slide mount mealybugs today. The tools we'll need today are the forceps, spatulas, flat dissecting tools, and pipettes. And the chemicals that we will need are 10% KOH. They come in as a pellet, and you put it in water. You can order it from any of the chemical companies. The next chemical you need is double or triple stain. You dilute that in water. The next thing you need is 95% ethanol, clove oil, and Canada balsam, which is thinned out in xylene. And the next thing you need is a slide and a slide dispenser and cover slips. And this you can make yourself. You trace the slide and put an X in the middle so you know exactly where to center the specimen. And specimens may come in live like this. This is hibiscus, and there's pink hibiscus mealybugs on them. And this is sago palm with long-tailed mealybugs on them. Or they can come in alcohol. I personally prefer them fresh because if they're in alcohol for too long, they set up like concrete. The first thing you do is collect these mealybugs off the plant samples using your dissecting tools. And the best thing to do I found is to leave them in the KOH overnight so that it can permeate through their body and clear their guts. But if you are in a rush, you can put them on a hot plate for 10 or 15 minutes and heat them up gently. But it's still best to clear it overnight. I'm putting them in the KOH. And here's a pink hibiscus mealybug on hibiscus. There's one right here. We can hit this. After 24 hours of sitting in the KOH, you can start to clear the specimens and use your dissecting tools to squish out the gut content. And you have to make sure as much of the gut content is expelled as possible. Otherwise, it's very difficult to see all the pores and the setae to identify the mealybugs with. So after the specimen has been sufficiently cleared, you take it and you put it in the stain. And you leave it there for 10 to 15 minutes, or you can leave it in there overnight. But I find that when you leave it in there overnight, it stains too dark, and it's more difficult to see all the identifying characteristics. So when you put it in the stain, you have to submerge the specimen to the bottom of the petri dish so that it can be evenly stained throughout the whole body. And you can still clear the guts at this point too. After 15 minutes, you can put your sample in 95% ethanol. And this helps dry the specimen and prepare it for clove oil. And what I'm doing right now is I'm squishing it so that I can expel what excess water and stain. And you can leave this in here for 10 to 15 minutes also. This next step, we are putting the mealybug in clove oil. And this is to prepare it for the last step in Canada balsam. If you're in a hurry or you have other things that you need to do, you can leave the sample in the clove oil for days to weeks. So now you take your slide and you place it on the diagram that you drew earlier. And you take a drop of balsam and you put it in the center of the slide. Now you take the mealybug and you place her in the center of the slide. And press down on her so that she would sink to the bottom, because you don't want her to move around once you put the cover slip on there. Now you take your cover slip, lay it down at a 45-degree angle to minimize the bubbles, and then you press down on it. And you can move it around so you can have your mealybug centered where you'd like it to be. And this is your slide, your finished product. I have prepared slides of the pink hibiscus mealybug and the long-tailed mealybug. Now the techniques I've showed you can be used also on scales in addition to mealybugs. The slide can be viewed immediately for the characteristics, but you should probably, for the preservation of the slide, you need to put it in an oven at 45 degrees Celsius for 2 weeks. Now you can take a look at it under the compound scope. Here are characteristics to look for underneath the compound scope. The circulus, which is located on the ventral portion of the abdomen. It's a clear area with no pores and no setae. It's used for adhesion. A second characteristic is the cerari. It's located along the lateral margins of the body. There are small sclerotized plates with triocular pores and usually 2 conical setae. Third characteristic, osteoles. There are 2 present in the head region and 2 present in the abdomen. The last thing you need when you're done making your slides is to label them with the date, the collector, the location that it was collected from, and the specimen number. The last thing you need is to be confused. Now, good luck with your slide making.